Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Before I begin the guide, I just want to thank everyone for 400 subscribers. It means a lot. Alright, so this is going to be my Bloodveld Slayer guide. Now, Bloodvelds are a really good task, and they're ones that you definitely should do, especially if you're an Iron Man account. They have some really good drops, and the experience per hour you get is actually pretty phenomenal. Also, they're quite AFK and relaxing. The reason behind bringing Dragonhide here is because it has a high magical defense. Bloodveld's attack using a mage-based melee attack. Therefore, you're going to want to have as high of the magic defense as possible. Though, you can always pray melee and you'll avoid all of the damage. So, what I personally like to do is bring my best DPS armor and just pray melee. But if you don't want to do that, you can definitely just not pray and use Black Dragonhide. Though, you can also just pray and use Proselyte, but I prefer using the higher strength bonus just to get the task done faster and get more experience per hour. So, you can bring Dragonhide if you want, but I don't. So, the gear I personally like to use is Black Mask or Slayer Helm, whichever you have. I'm using my hardcore for this video, so I don't actually have a Slayer Helm quite yet, so I'm just using my Black Mask. I use a Glory because again, I'm a Iron Man, but you can use a Fury, Torture, whatever you actually have, but a Glory definitely does work if that's all you have. I use a Blessing for the prayer bonus because I am praying with this setup. Fire Cape or Skill Cape or whatever you can have in your cape slot. Arty Cape even works if you're an Iron Man and that's all you got. I use a Dragon Scimitar. You can use obviously a Whip or anything else, but Dragon Scimitar definitely works pretty well here. And again, Dragon Defender as well. I use a Fighter Torso for the strength bonus, but if you don't have it, anything else really would work that gives you strength bonus, like Bandos or anything like that. However, if you don't have anything with like a strength bonus, don't use Rune here. If you're going to use Rune, just use Proselyte instead. If you don't have Proselyte, Monk Robes work as well. And I'm using Obsidian Plate Legs because they give a strength bonus as well. They're pretty much just a little bit worse than Bandos Tazats, so they're pretty worth bringing if you have them, but on an Iron Man account you actually need to have a Fire Cape to actually get these, so if you don't have them, which is very possible, definitely a Monk Skirt or a Proselyte Legs would work pretty well. Anything that gives you prayer bonus would work really well. And I use climbing boots, but they're very, very low requirements obviously, so you probably have better than those, so use whatever boots are your best in slot. I use a Ring of Life because I'm a hardcore, but if you're a normal Iron Man, any other ring you can use that give you a bonus in damage. And if you don't have one, a Ring of Wealth for the coin collection effect is pretty good. And I use a Bracelet of Slaughter personally. Now, this is really down to debate. If you don't like this task, you can use an Expeditious Bracelet if you don't like this task. However, I do like this task. I believe it gives you quite a bit of XP and it gives you a lot of GP, so that's why I use a Slaughter Bracelet, and it's also AFK and I do definitely like it a lot. So I use the Bracelet of Slaughter personally, but an Expeditious Bracelet will be a good substitute if you don't like it, or you can use Barrow's Gloves or any other kind of gloves for DPS if you want to use those instead. For inventory setup, I bring a few super sets. I don't bring the defense because I'm praying, but if you're not praying, definitely bring super defense if you're using Dragonhide, but I use super strength and attack. And because I'm praying, I don't actually need food, so I'm just bringing prayer potions, quite a decent amount, but you'll probably be banking anyway at least once because you'll have an inventory full of items and you'll want to bank. I also bring elks, but they're down to debate. You don't actually have to bring them. You could bank your elks or just leave them, but I bring elk runes, and I bring a dragon dagger for the spec. I also have my enchanted gem because I don't have a Slayer Helm, so a little bit of a waste of space there. You don't really need this, especially if you have Rune Light, but I just like it anyway. So, there's multiple places where you can kill these. First, I'm going to show you Neve's Cave. You can only kill these on task in this area, but it is a pretty decent area to kill them. At least if you're a lower level. I personally don't kill them here, because they're a lower combat level, lower HP, and they give you lower experience because of this. Though here you can actually place a cannon. There's also multiple rooms, so you can go into any of them, and if they're packed, then you'll easily be able to find a world. And the last place I'm going to show where you can kill them is the Catacombs. You can also kill them in the Slayer Tower, but it is definitely not worth it because it is far to get there, and they're also one of the lower level ones, so you definitely don't want to go there. So a good way of getting to the Catacombs is to teleport to your player own house. You can use your Rejuvenation Pool, and then you want to go to your Portal Chamber or your Portal Nexus, and you want to make a Core End Portal teleport. Go into there, and it'll take you right to the entrance of the Catacombs. You can investigate the statue, and then you're there. As you can see by this map, there are multiple places you can kill Bloodvelds, but I have a different one which I prefer. So I don't like to go to this one over here, and I don't like to go to this one over here because this one's packed and this one doesn't usually have enough, and it's a little bit farther to get to. So I actually have a better one, and it's just down here by the moss giants, and I'll show you how to get there. So once you get into this area, you'll be at the rope. You just want to go down this way and you'll see moss giants, and from the moss giants just go south and you'll be at the Bloodvelds. It does get packed here sometimes, but it's not as bad as the other place, and the other place is full of people who range. So you just get over here, and then you want to pray melee if you're using armor. And nice thing that you can do with the catacombs is you can tag all of them, and then you can AFK for quite a while until they're all dead. You only really need to tag 2 or 3. You don't actually need to tag all 4 or 5. Well, all 5. 4 or 5 is a little bit overkill. 3 is pretty good, I would say, but you're gonna usually have to share with someone. So yeah, definitely leave at least 2 for someone else, or you can take 2. It's not a big deal. They have a pretty fast respawn time. You can tag it, but it won't work right away. But this guy's actually about to die, so yeah, don't be like this guy wearing the armor. Alright, let's see what the respawn time is. So let me just kill this tagged one. But yeah, and then you can just, like, you know, spec them or whatever as well. Just basically kill them and just AFK until your task is complete. You'll get some really good XP and some really good loot as well. Okay, I'm not trying to crash this guy, but yeah, so about a 7-second respawn time. Alright, so that's pretty much that. And I turn off my melee prayer, but I'm going to over here, like this guy. So, these ones in the catacombs that I just showed you how to get to, the mutated Bloodvelds. Why you should be killing these over normal Bloodvelds? Not just the experience difference, but the drops are pretty insane. So first of all, the Ensouled Bloodveld head is a pretty sought after drop for Ironman accounts especially. It is 1 in 35, which is pretty good. It gives you about 1,000 prayer experience per head, which is pretty decent. They also give you lots of alchables, ruby amulets, you can get mithril bars if you want to pick those up. They are unnoted, unfortunately. Oh, too bad I'm not Swampletics, but I just got myself a book. Heck. They can also drop a rune battle axe, rune dagger, rune medhelm, black boots, adamant scimitar, adamant longsword, mithril full helm, adamant chain body, adamant knives, which aren't really that good, mithril plate body, mithril battle axe, mithril axe, black medhelm, which are all pretty decent alchables, and you definitely should be picking them up if you're an Ironman account. In Elks, I'd say you should average around 200k per task. Could be less or more depending on your RNG, but it is definitely quite a decent amount. And you should average 2 to 4 heads per task as well, which is 2 to 4,000 prayer experience, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it'll add up quite quick. You should average around 30,000 Slayer experience per hour here, which is pretty good considering how AFK they are. And you should average around 70,000 attack, strength, or defense experience per hour, depending on your stats. At my stats currently, I get about 70,000 attack per hour here, which is pretty great, actually. It's better than NMZ, and the only reason you get so much is because you're on task, so you're hitting quite high because you have the Slayer Helm or the Black Mask effect. And this is also dependent on if you're using your best DPS gear or D'hide. D'hide is technically better just so you don't waste prayer pots, but I just prefer using the DPS gear with prayer. But overall, these are the best ones you want to kill as the mutated Bloodvelds compared to any of the other ones. I did show you the other ones in Neve's Cave, and they're just really easy to get to, and they're better for lower levels because these are also 123 combat, so if you're a low combat level you won't be able to hit too high on these most likely, and they'll do a lot of damage to you if you're not praying. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this guide helped you out in some way, shape, or form. If it did, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.